Hello, I'm Zibby,
And I'm Daniela.
and this is our CS 102 video about percents, converting from decimal fraction to percent.
So a percent is a fraction of a whole. And if you've eaten half of a banana, you've eaten 50% of the fruit. So here's one whole banana. If you split it right down the middle, you have two halves of a whole. One whole banana is 100%. If you split 100 into two, you get 50% on one side and 50% on the other. This translates into 1/2.
And just like that, 1/4 translates to 25%, 2/5 translates to 40%, and so on. In class, we've often needed to find out what percent of something another thing is. For example, what percentage of our class is male? Conversely, what percentage is female? Assume our class has 25 students and only one is male. The fraction would be 1 out of 25 of the class is male. 1 out of 25 translates to a decimal of 0.04. That happens when you divide 1 by 20, or divide 1 by 25. This translates to 4%. So 4% of our class is male. In order to convert 0.04 from a decimal to a percent, we just moved the decimal point 2 places to the right. So as a decimal, 4% is 0.04. To turn it into a percent, you just move the decimal place 2 spots to the right. An easy way to remember this is to think of $1. 50% of $1 is 50. So you go from this to this.
So when can you use percents in real life?
Maybe when you're shopping.
Yeah, so say you want to buy a dress.
It's a really cute dress.
It's a really cute dress. And the dress costs $20. Now, say the store is having a 20% sale off all items.
Whoa.
20% off. But say that this particular dress is 50% off the sale price after the 20% discount. So how do you figure that out? What's 20% of 20? %20 is equal to 20 over 100. So what is the equivalent of 20% out of 20? The way we solve this is we cross multiply equals 40 divided by 100 x equals 4 divided by 10, which simplifies to 2 divided by 5.
2/5 of the $20 dress is equal to $4. So the discount is $4. So to find out the new price of the dress, you just subtract $4 from 20 and you get $16. But the additional 50% off hasn't been factored in yet. So to find 50% of 16, we do the same thing. 50 over 100 is equal to 50%, and you set that equal to x over 16 because we're trying to find what number out of 16 is equal to 50%. You cross multiply, and I know the answer is 8. So after the 50% discount has been applied to the 20% discount, the total price of the dress is $8. What a deal. It was easy to find out that half of 16 was 8, and we can see how to do it backwards by using these fractions. So the final sales price was $8, which was 50% of 16. So if we put 8 over 16, we can reduce the fraction to 2/4. If we divide that by 2 again, we get 1/2, which we know is equal to 50%. To convert a percent to a fraction, just think of the percentage being a fraction of 100. So 50% is equal to 50 over 100. In the example of male students in our class, the fraction would be equal to 4 out of 100. So you can see that this fraction easily reduces to 5 out of 10, which we know is 1/2. You can also convert a percent to a fraction by making it into a decimal first. This makes it easy because you are able to see where the numbers fall, either in the 10th or 100th places. For example, in the example of our class, 40% of the class is male, which is equal to 0.04% or 4 out of 100, because the 4 is in the hundredths place.
Alright, so now let's talk about converting percentages into fractions and then simplifying the fractions. So 145% turns into a fraction that is 145 divided by 100. This can simplify down to 29 divided by 20 because both the numerator and the denominator are divisible by 5. And 145 divided by 5 is 29. 150 divided by 5 is 20. 34%. 34 divided by 100 is equal to 17 divided by 50. You can divide both 34 and 100 by 2. 34 divided by 2 is 17, and 100 divided by 2 is 50.
And in the case of 7%, this simplifies to 7 over 100. And neither 7 and 100 do not have any common factors, so you cannot divide this fraction anymore. And then 75% is equal to 75 over 100. And this reduces to 3/4 because 100 divided by 25 is 4, and 75 divided by 25 is 3.
Alright, let's talk about a dollar. A dollar is important for everyone's day-to-day transactions. A dollar is equal to 100 cents. Now, we divided 100 by 75 in our last example. 75 divided by 100 was equal to 3 over 4. Let's look at this 4. What does this mean? This means that there are 4 parts of 100. How do we illustrate that? Each part has 25.
Because 25 goes into 100 4 times.
So what do we call this if we're looking at currency? We call this a quarter. because it's 1/4 or 1/4 of a dollar of a whole.
So in the example of 75 over 100, we have 3/4 of a whole dollar. So if we're walking down the street and we hear change jingling in our pocket and we have 75 cents, we'll have 3/4. So 75 over 100 is the same as 0.75, which is 75 cents, or as a fraction, 3/4. 3/4 of a whole dollar.